All right, so are you ready to dive into something a little bit different this time?
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah.
You sent us this book, Mesmerizing Messages, and
It's quite a title.
it definitely piqued my curiosity.
Yeah,
The title alone promises some intriguing techniques.
it certainly does, and it seems to tap into a desire a lot of people have to understand the secrets of attraction and how to, build stronger relationships.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want to learn the secrets to making someone fall head over heels? This Jake guy, he claims to have cracked the code with these obsession-arousing messages.
Well, the book does present some fascinating psychological principles about attraction, and it does it in a way that's very accessible and easy to understand.
Okay.
For example, it talks about the chase instinct,
Okay.
which is this idea that's actually rooted in evolutionary psychology.
Hmm.
It suggests that men are naturally drawn to pursue what they perceive as valuable or hard to obtain.
Yeah, it's like that saying, the heart wants what it can't have.
It-
And this book really takes that concept and applies it to modern dating, suggesting that by understanding this instinct, women can create a dynamic that naturally draws men to them.
Right, and it's not just about playing hard to get.
Right.
The book also really emphasizes the importance of self-confidence and self-respect.
Okay.
It encourages women to focus on their own value and worthiness of love, and that can naturally make them more attractive to men.
That makes sense. Confidence is definitely attractive. But what about these specific text messages? Are they really like magic spells that make men instantly obsessed?
Well, the book does present a collection of specific phrases like the everlasting attraction phrase and the monogamy awakener phrase.
Oh.
And they claim that these can trigger really powerful emotional responses in men.
Okay, I have to admit, I'm a little skeptical. Can a few words really have that much power?
Well, the book's argument is that these phrases work by tapping into certain psychological triggers, like the power of suggestion and the scarcity effect.
Hold on, break that down for me. What exactly is the scarcity effect?
Sure. So it's a well-documented psychological principle that suggests that things become more desirable when they are perceived as rare or limited.
Hmm.
Think about, limited edition products or exclusive clubs, that scarcity makes them more appealing.
I see. So by using these specific phrases and making yourself less available, you're essentially creating a sense of scarcity, which makes you more desirable.
Exactly. And the book argues that these messages aren't just about manipulating men.
Okay.
They're about helping women communicate their desires and boundaries more effectively.
So it's about taking control of your dating life and being more intentional about attracting the right kind of partner.
Precisely. And the book does emphasize the importance of using these techniques ethically and responsibly.
Oh.
It's not about, tricking or manipulating someone into a relationship,
Right.
but rather about understanding the dynamics of attraction and using that knowledge to create a healthy and fulfilling connection.
It's definitely making me rethink how we communicate in relationships and how these subtle shifts in our words and actions can create these powerful effects. It's making me wonder if there's more to these mesmerizing messages than meets the eye.
Well, that's what we're here to explore. The book is filled with anecdotes from women who claim to have completely transformed their love lives using these techniques.
Interesting.
Whether or not those claims hold up under scrutiny is something we'll be diving into further.
Okay, let's get into it.
One of the most intriguing things that I found in the book is how it really dives into the psychology of men, particularly their emotional responses in romantic relationships.
Yeah, it talks about men being emotionally driven and how understanding those emotional needs is key to building a strong connection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The book suggests that men, despite often appearing stoic or guarded, crave emotional intimacy just as much as women do.
Okay.
They want to feel understood, appreciated, and admired.
And these obsession-arousing messages, they're designed to tap into those emotional needs.
That's the idea. The book argues that by using specific language that triggers feelings of admiration, respect, and longing, women can create an emotional connection that men find irresistible.
So instead of trying to change who they are or force them to commit, it's about appealing to their emotional core.
Right. The book really encourages women to view men as complex individuals with these deep emotional needs and desires, rather than as simple creatures, driven solely by physical attraction.
I'm starting to see how this approach could be quite powerful. It's about understanding men on a deeper level and communicating in a way that resonates with their emotional landscape.
Exactly. And the book provides a lot of specific examples of phrases that can evoke these desired emotional responses. For instance, it talks about the everlasting attraction phrase, which is designed to make a man feel deeply seen and appreciated for who he is at his core.
Ooh, that sounds intriguing.
Yeah.
Does the book give examples of what these phrases actually look like?
It does, but it emphasizes that the exact wording should be tailored to the specific man and relationship. However, it does offer general templates and principles to guide women in crafting their own mesmerizing messages.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not about using cookie-cutter phrases, but rather about understanding the underlying principles and applying them in a way that feels authentic to your own voice and relationship dynamic.
Precisely. The book emphasizes that the most effective communication comes from a place of genuineness and authenticity. It's not about, manipulating someone into feeling something they don't.
Right.
It's about expressing your own feelings and desires in a way that resonates with your partner.
This is making me think about how often we communicate on autopilot in relationships without really considering the impact of our words.
Hmm.
This book really encourages us to be more mindful and intentional in how we communicate with our partners.
Absolutely. The book highlights the power of language to create specific emotional experiences and suggests that by choosing our words carefully, we can create a more positive and fulfilling dynamic in our relationships.
So it's not just about getting a man to chase you. It's about creating a connection based on mutual understanding, respect, and emotional intimacy.
Exactly. And that's something that can benefit any relationship, regardless of, gender or dating dynamics.
This book is really challenging my assumptions about how relationships work and the power of communication to create lasting connections.
And that's one of its strengths. It encourages readers to question conventional dating advice and explore a different approach based on psychological principles and emotional intelligence.
It's definitely making me reconsider those tired, old dating cliches and look at relationships with fresh eyes.
And that's what makes this deep dive so fascinating. We're unpacking ideas that can potentially transform how we approach love and connection.
It's making me think about those success stories the book highlights. Do you remember the one about Maggie and how she used these techniques to rekindle her relationship?
Yes. The book presents a number of these anecdotes as evidence for the effectiveness of these mesmerizing messages.
It's compelling to hear how these women seemingly turn their love lives around by using these techniques.
The book uses these stories to illustrate how these principles can be applied in real-life situations. They're presented as inspirational examples of how women can take control of their romantic destinies.
Makes you wonder if there's something to this secret formula for love.
Well, the book certainly presents a compelling case. It blends psychological insights with practical advice and inspiring anecdotes, making it a very engaging and thought-provoking read.
It's definitely piqued my curiosity. Even if you're skeptical of some of the claims, it's hard to deny the potential power of understanding these psychological principles and applying them to your relationships.
That's what we're here for, to explore these ideas and help you navigate the complex world of dating and relationships.
And Mesmerizing Messages is definitely providing some food for thought.
It's encouraging us to think outside the box and consider new possibilities for creating the kind of love and connection we desire.
Now, I'm also curious about the author Jake. He presents himself as a former player who was transformed by these techniques. Does that add to the book's credibility, in your opinion?
It definitely makes the narrative more compelling.
Okay.
The book frames Jake's journey as a testament to the power of these techniques, suggesting that if they can work for someone like him, they can work for anyone.
It's a classic redemption story, the bad boy turned love guru.
Exactly. And it taps into our fascination with personal transformation and the possibility of finding lasting love, even for those who have struggled with relationships in the past.
It adds a human touch to the book, making it more relatable and engaging. You can't help but root for Jake and be intrigued by his methods.
It's a clever storytelling technique that draws readers in and makes them more receptive to the book's message.
It makes you wonder if Jake's personal story is part of the marketing magic the book talks about.
Perhaps. The book does acknowledge its own use of persuasive techniques, arguing that it's simply using those same psychological principles to sell its ideas.
It's almost like a meta-commentary on marketing and persuasion.
Exactly. It invites readers to be aware of these tactics, but also suggests that they can be used for positive purposes, such as promoting healthy relationships.
A fascinating perspective. It's like the book is saying, hey, we're all being influenced all the time, so why not use those influences to create something good?
It's a provocative idea, and it certainly makes you think about the ethics of persuasion and the power of language to shape our perceptions and experiences.
It's making me wonder if we can use these techniques to not only attract romantic partners, but also to improve our communication in all areas of our lives.
That's a great question. The book primarily focuses on romantic relationships, but the principles it discusses could potentially be applied to other types of relationships as well.
Imagine using these techniques to build stronger connections with friends, family members, or even colleagues.
It's an intriguing thought. Perhaps the principles of emotional intelligence, mindful communication, and understanding psychological triggers can help us create more harmonious and fulfilling relationships across the board.
This deep dive is really opening up new avenues of thought.
It's showing us that there's always more to learn about human connection and the power of communication to shape our experiences.
This whole deep dive into mesmerizing messages has been fascinating. It's really made me think about the intricacies of attraction and the role psychology plays in our relationships. But I have to ask, what about the marketing tactics used to sell the book itself?
Ah, yes. The book does employ some classic marketing strategies to pique reader interest.
Okay.
It starts with an inflated original price,
Uh-huh.
making that actual cost seem like a steal.
Classic. And I bet there's a limited time offer too, right?
You know it. Creating that sense of urgency, that fear of missing out. It's a tried and true method. And of course, there's a money-back guarantee to soothe any lingering doubts.
Yeah. It's a carefully crafted sales funnel designed to encourage impulse buying.
Yeah.
But, in a way, it's almost refreshing that the book is so upfront about its marketing techniques.
I agree. It's almost like the author's saying, look, I understand these principles of influence, and I'm using them to share, valuable knowledge with you. It's a meta commentary on the very ideas that are explored in the book.
That's a great point. It makes you wonder if the marketing itself is a kind of mesmerizing message designed to draw readers in.
It certainly adds another layer to the whole experience. It's almost like the author's saying, if you're intrigued by these techniques, look no further. I've mastered them myself.
It's a bold approach, but undeniably effective. So what should our listener take away from this deep dive into mesmerizing messages?
Well, I think the key takeaway is that while this book might present a unique approach to attracting a partner, it's essential to approach these techniques with mindfulness and a healthy dose of skepticism.
Right. It's not about blindly following a formula,
Exactly.
but rather about understanding the underlying principles of attraction and using them in a way that feels authentic and ethical to you.
Exactly. It's about being honest with yourself and potential partners and creating connections that are based on, genuine respect and mutual understanding.
And ultimately, building a fulfilling relationship requires more than just a few cleverly crafted text messages.
Absolutely. It takes effort, communication, shared values, and a genuine desire to connect on a deeper level.
So if our listener is intrigued by the ideas in mesmerizing messages, should they give it a read?
I think it can be a really valuable resource for anyone who's looking to, gain a deeper understanding of the psychology of attraction and to explore new ways of communicating in their relationships.
But as with any advice, it's important to take what resonates with you and leave the rest behind.
Precisely. Trust your instincts, be true to yourself, and you should never compromise your values for the sake of attracting a partner.
This has been a truly fascinating deep dive. It's amazing how much psychology and even marketing are intertwined with something as seemingly simple as a text message.
Indeed. It's a reminder that we're constantly being influenced both consciously and subconsciously, and that understanding these influences can empower us to make more informed choices in our lives and relationships.
Well said. Remember, we're here to help you navigate the information overload and find the real insights, even in the most unexpected places. Until next time, happy diving.